What feels really dangerous, but is completely safe? Leaving the slow cooker going while out of the house. Feels like leaving the stove on or something. The secret is to bring it to work with you. I was complaining to my boss how I'd love to make more crock-pot meals, but they call for like 4 to 6 hours and I'm at work for 8. He said, well, nowhere in the employee book does it say you can't bring it in and cook it here in the break room. This is brilliant. Except I'd worry about driving all my coworkers crazy with the amazing smells. Showing your parents something on your phone. There's nothing bad on there, but it still scares the hell out of me. That's cause parents get a weird condition called RTS, restless thumb syndrome. You can't just show them a picture without them swiping around, or oh no the picture changed, / what's hot's this, etc. On an iPhone you set a shortcut in the accessibility menu to lock your screen with 3 clicks of the power button. I assume Android has the same. Heavy turbulence on planes. I experienced pretty bad turbulence that the plane shook and dropped. I thought this is it until I looked at the stewardess face and seen that she looked calm and this is normal. I just instinctively don't like turbulence, even though I know that things are likely fine. Especially if the flight attendants appear normal, but I also don't want to look at them in the off chance they don't look okay. Putting your blender on maximum speed. There are other speeds. The majority of spiders. Waiting on the grocery line while your mom is away. Rejection. Roller coasters. Sleeping with one foot hanging over the edge of the bed. Yeah, but in some cases not. The nephew of my mom's friend got bitten by a mouse on a vacation cabin their family rented. He was sleeping on the bed with his hand hanging off. Dreaming of falling. That one completely normal room that gives you a feeling when you open the door. Going to a physical shop that sells anything and buy nothing, I never feel okay about it. Trying to catch a closing door with no handle. In my childhood home the door leading from inside to the garage was a heavy steel door. Getting my fingers slammed in that baby is a feeling I'll never forget. Almost chopped them clean off. In conclusion, this is definitely dangerous. Just depending on the door. I don't know if I'd say they're completely safe, but having a panic attack, they're significantly more harmless than they feel. Practice some breathing exercises and you'll get through it. I'm not entirely sure on what a panic attack is like. How does a person has one? How do they act? How can I help? I can't speak for how to help as everyone requires different. But like a panic attack can feel like you're having a major heart attack. Lots of chest pain, rapid breathing, shortness of breath, pain all over, etc. They aren't nice to witness or experience. Flying absolutely terrifies me. Here on the ground I know it's the safest way to travel, but it's of no comfort when I'm bouncing around in a metal tube thousands of feet in the air. Walking on floor made out of glass, it just feels like I'm gonna fall through at any moment. Sticking your hand in dirty dishwater to unplug the drain. I was gonna say driving a car, but then I realized that's actually the exact opposite. Asking someone out. Walking on cracks. Been protecting my mama's back for 30 years. Feeling out of breath and itchy after running for a bit. Waking up too early. My ting is getting ready too early before leaving to do somewhere. Gotta be somewhere at 4. Shit, it's already 230. Scramble to get shower, find clothes, dry off completely, get all ready, look at clock. 315. It takes 10 minutes to get there. Now what it's like waiting for a bomb to go off and all you can do is look at the clock. Swimming at night. That depends where you swim, of course. Space Mountain. IDKY, but the lighting makes it seems like there are beams and stuff super close to where you're riding. Yes, my dad and brother were scared shitless on that ride, while I, the eldest daughter, Laughed in suicidal mania at their complete fear. My dad is a war veteran. My brother is a skydiving adrenaline junkie. They both still refuse to ride that ride again. When you forget the sound is really loud on your phone and you're surrounded by people. Turkish toilet. Pulling the microwave open just before the buzz late at night when everyone's asleep. Picking up a hot metal sheet from the oven with oven mitts. The mitts get hot. But every time I get anxious, because what if they keep getting hotter? Moving at 70 miles per hour in a steel behemoth powered by explosive liquids. Dropping in off a quarter pipe. I've been known to put 2 different flavors jelly beans in my mouth at the same time. However, I was not in danger. Lighting the pilot light on the gas water heater. Jumping off of things. Like trees. Boxes. That stuff. The trick is to think what your feet would be seeing. Rather than what your head is seeing. Being next to an air compressor while it's filling up. I have an irrational fear it will explode sending shrapnel everywhere even though my dad has told me on many occasions that's not possible. Flying in a plane, people forget all the time that statistically speaking, you're safer in a plane than you are riding in a car or even riding a bike in many cases. It's because flying is something that many people are unfamiliar with doing consistently, and thus we believe it's more dangerous than it really is. Taking acid occasionally. Like 4 people will understand this, but stringing a bow, it feels dangerous because of how much pressure that string is holding. But if you know what you're doing, then there is nothing to be afraid of. This. Zooming in on Google Earth really fast. Beekeeping. As long as you have a smoker and good protective suit. Standing underneath the cliff. It just feels like it will collapse on you any second. Human interaction. When you are in the backseat of a car and it goes down a slope. Working in a laboratory with highly hazardous substances. It's usually very safe there. Telling my family anything to do with my romantic life. That's not safe. That's not safe at all. Being social in high school, or just trying to talk to someone like a normal human being. Trying to order something to, especially if it's like an Italian, Japanese, Mexican, etc. restaurant when you can barely pronounce your own name if you're put on the spot. Life after college. Dogs that bark at me. I do nothing bad, but no matter the size I get scared for a split second when they bark. Turning your back away from the microwave when it is microwaving something. I swear I feel like I have to watch it the whole time the food is microwaving, and if I go and do something while it is microwaving there will just be an explosion. I think I left a metal there. Flying. Airplanes are statistically one of the safest places in the world, but because it is so alien so many people irrationally fear them. This then causes the need for aircraft manufacturers and airlines to probably invest more than they should be into safety equipment and preparation. Roller coasters. Coasters have multiple layers of redundancy built into them. What puts you at the most risk on one is being a shitty human being that ignores "do not ride" if you have these conditions warnings. With shitty maintenance departments cutting corners at the behest of shitty park owners who enable them as a distant second. Some VR games. Public restrooms. Flying. Safest form of travel on Earth. But a few 737 maximums crash and everyone loses their minds. Roller coasters. They have so many safety measures in place. The risk of death is very low. Ceiling fans. Holding open an elevator. Well, while not life-threatening. Texting your crush. Sailing a 420 dinghy and the boat begins to heel. Think of this. The small boat is leaning on a 50 to 60 degree angle and you are leaning backward as far as you can go. And you try to steer down, but that doesn't work. And you are moving at 25 miles per hour on a boat that doesn't have an engine in 20 knot winds. At any moment you can flip. However, it's completely safe. If it flips, you simply flip it back over and bail the water and you can continue going. Locking the front door at night. Plugging in an electrical wire. Being in the ocean, even with tons of people, trained lifeguards on a chill day, and no issues with wildlife, it still makes me super paranoid. Sitting with angry mom. Going to get some water, or leaving your room after 12 AM. Eating something with a bit, if gold leaf on it. Studying all night. Flying on a plane. I have many friends that get nervous, or are scared to fly. But airplanes have really high safety standards and rarely crash. Driving is much more dangerous. When my parents were young, my dad was getting on flight from across the world to come back from something work related. On the news, the flight he was on crashed in the ocean. No survivors. My mom was hysterical. Several hours later, my dad walks in the door. He had no idea about the news. He went to get on the flight but something happened and he got on a later one instead. He didn't think it would be a big deal as it was just a few hours, and he had already talked to her on a payphone before. Nothing in the world is completely safe. I remember my brother telling me when we were kids how everything, even a tiny cake crumb about the size of a speck of sand, could kill me. Fun times. For some people these days, wearing a mask. Boating. Riding a ski lift for the first time. Lightning hitting a plane. Glass bridges. Dentist. Exercise. Seeing a killer whale charge at you. Paranoia. Floating and or treading water. I'm deathly scared of deep water. Roller coasters. Riding motorcycle on the highway. While it's hard to call it safe, it's not really that much more likely to result in death than driving a car. Meanwhile, motorcycles and cars crash at much lower rates on highways and freeways than on small surface streets. Statistically, you're much safer at freeway speeds on the highway than you are tooling around your own neighborhood. It just seems like it isn't, because it's so much faster and easier to feel that speed. Welding. Roller coasters. You feel like you're gonna fall out, but they're safer than cars. Going to school. Before the pandemic, but it kind of was dangerous. Plane wings moving up or down. When you are at the top of the Ferris wheel. Roller coasters. They're way safer than cars. Ziplining. Mammograms. I don't know how safe or unsafe it actually is, but working for an appliance rental company, I fear for my life every time my manager nonchalantly opens the lid of a full washing machine on full wax bin cycle while I'm testing it. Driving in a thunderstorm. I'm pretty sure there's a tiny, microscopic chance a car can be struck, but overall it's the safest place to be in a storm, provided there's no strong wind or tornadoes. Daddy long leg spiders. Jumping from 5-7 meters into water. Looks like you are going to fall to your death, but if the water is deep enough, about 2 meters, you should be okay. Not listening to what people say/think of you. Accepting people who are different from you for who they are. Peeing on an electric fence. You cannot die that way. First of all, urine isn't a good conduction of electricity, and secondly, it's not a solid stream, even though it appears to be. Doing something bad in a video game. I'm gonna be safe in real life, but it seems too risky to do still. Mountain biking. Seriously, people think that we ride on cliffs or jump from 3 stories. Well, it's not like that. You have so much in the sport and only thing maybe dangerous is the fake confidence when you try to impress somebody and you do something stupid and crash badly. Talking to people. Falling in love. Dutch kickboxing, excluding amateur/professional fights. When the headphones unplug while you're watching hentai on full volume, it's safe because my neighbors don't understand Japanese. Sleeping, like when you feel tired you could be slowly dying, and when you sleep you could die but think you're gonna go to sleep. Pouring liquid nitrogen onto your bare skin. Due to a highly interesting physical chemical phenomenon called the Leidenfrost effect, the temperature differential between your skin and the liquid nitrogen is so great that the latter evaporates the literal instant it comes into contact with the former. You can even safely hold it in your mouth without getting injured, but must never swallow. Walking or driving near a cop. Going out right now even with a mask. Floor is lava and similar imagination-based games. Ziplining, at least they say it's safe. Eating Yakult. Touching birds. Anything in VR. Playing with fire. Being a white middle class or upper middle class, I don't know which I fall into anymore. Woman getting pulled over. Just to clarify, stating that I'm a white female is important because I realize the color of my skin and my income/area I live is what actually makes this not really dangerous, and that sadly is not true for everyone. I have no idea why I get so freaked, and I've only had it happen maybe 3 times in my life. I'm in my 30s. But the second I see the sirens go off, or shit, even just seeing one behind me, I start getting extremely nervous, shaky, stammering over my words etc. Literally for no reason. Totally a law-abiding boring person here. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.